Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Today's video is regarding the Delphi murder case of Abby and Libby. Abby and Libby were killed back on February 13, 2017 by convicted killer Richard Allen. During the trial, it was alleged that Richard Allen drove his 2016 black Ford Focus hatchback to the abandoned CPS building. And it turns out the exhibits have just been released of the black 2016 Ford Focus hatchback. And there's three different images. They're from I think it's 1, 27, and 38 seconds, and then 39 seconds and 40 seconds. And I have put them, overlaid them here in Photoshop. And you can see all three of the sightings of the vehicle back to back to back. They're just all on the screen at the same time on the same street. So those three cars that you see right here, let's zoom in. That's each shot of the hatchback is right there in succession. So 1, 2, 3. I just put them all on the same image. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you what I've done in 3D Studio Max. I purchased a 3D model of the 2016 black Ford Focus hatchback, and I have created a scene in 3D Studio Max, and let's take a look at it from above. So I did a massive, like 8,000 pixel by another 5,000 pixel export from Google Earth. And here is the Hoosier harvestore where the camera was located. You can see there's this little cement block, sort of a landing area to go inside the house, whatever you want to call it, a patio or something. And then here is West 300 North. And I placed a telephone pole in the scene, and it's right here. So see where the shadow of the telephone pole is? I just placed it at the base of it right there. Okay, so that's where the telephone pole is. Then I have a black Ford Focus in the scene here, and I put the camera right next to the building and just north of this cement slab. And let's take a look at the image again so you can see what I'm talking about. There's the cement slab. The camera is pretty close to it, as you can see. So it's just behind it a little bit. And then here's the sort of a rectangular parking area, and there are the vehicles. And there's just one vehicle, but again, there's 1, 2, 3. Those are the shots. And if we look through the camera, you can see here's the first shot of it. Now, what I'm going to do is on the camera, I'm going to zoom in just so I have a larger version of it. And let's do, I'm going to make it probably like 55 millimeters, something like that. All right, so there's the vehicle, and then I'm going to render it. So we're going to set the rendering settings to, I'm going to say that this one is going to be, I'll just put the number 1 in there. And I'm exporting it out with transparency, but before I do that, I forgot to turn off the ground plane. All right, so let's do that again. Render, setup, and then go down to here, file, and then we'll just call that number 1. And then I'm going to render it. And here we go. I also put the daylight sun system in there, so the sun is coming from the correct angle. Seems to match up. I wasn't able to get the reflectivity or sort of the specularity effect on top of the car. I don't know why, but the sun is where it is. I'll show you here in a second. So there you go. We just exported the Ford Focus, and now I'm going to go above it, the scene. It's right there. Let me put the map back on. You can see it right there, and over off to the right here, I put a sun system in the scene. So here it is right there. It is 1:27 and 38 seconds on February 13th, 2017. This uses UTC time, so it's -5. And this geo coordinates, you can test it out yourself, is right there next to the Hoosier harvestore. And those are the settings I'm using for the sun system. Now if we look up in the air, you can see how it's coming in. See how it's coming in from behind? It's coming from the south and aiming north, the sun is. So it's going in that direction, right? Like that. You can see the angle of it just by looking at that. See that? So when we look at the image on Photoshop, you can see how this side of the car, the north side of the vehicle, is dark because the sun is coming from the other side, exactly how my 3D Studio Max program has it. You can see on each vehicle, though, that there's, you know, sort of a reflective or specularity effect from the sunlight on top of the car. And for some reason, when I render it out, it does not have that. Okay, so we've already rendered the first one. So let's import that in. So open, and it was number 1. And there's the vehicle. Just copy the whole thing, move it into here, and then we can move it up into this area. You can already see that it has a very similar shape. Scale it down, and let's move it up here. I might have to rotate it because it's kind of hilly over there. 3D Studio Max that I'm using, you know, we can't put in, I don't know what the hills are. There isn't the ground height, etc. So we have that, and let's just turn that on and off, and you'll be able to see. See, look at that, you guys. Can you see that? I mean, that's absolutely. I mean, I don't know how closer you could get on a vehicle. I mean, even the back window, etc. Everything is exactly the same. All right, now it might be. I have to rotate that slightly. Let's see. Let's see if it has any extra, because it looks like it might be sort of like that. Yeah, there we go. So now the wheels are hitting the ground at about the same time. Right there. Let's see. There we go. I mean, my God, you guys. That is a black 2016 Ford Focus hatchback. Okay. So now let's do the next one. Go back to 3D Studio Max. I've already pre-placed these vehicles. So I'm going to, let's see. We go to the camera view, and so we're on, this one's one that we already did. I'm just going to delete it. And now here is the second shot. So let's render this one off, remove the ground, render setup, and then I'm going to call that one number 2. And hit the render button, and here we go. And then we'll move that one over there, and we'll do all 3 of them just to see if there's any change that might make it not be a black 2016 Ford Focus hatchback. So here we go. And rendering that should be complete. Go back to Photoshop, File, Open, bring in number 2. Select the whole thing, bring it over to this one, put it over there, edit, transform, scale. Get it down to about the right size. Look at even the wheels, I have it at the correct angle, you can see. Let's see, probably about, let's see the wheels. Looks good, like right there, okay? I mean, that looks pretty good. I mean, look at that, you guys. Give me a break. I mean, this is absolutely, I think it's a little too big, though, perhaps. Maybe about like right there. And then, does that also need to be, I think it needs to be rotated slightly. Slightly like that, perhaps. Now let's move it down into there, and there we go. Okay, I mean, that's crazy. Look how perfect even the wheels are in the angle that I got. All right, we got that one. Now we're going to go to the last one. So put the ground back in. And we're going to put the one that has the telephone pole on it. We're going to put that one in there. And there we go. And then I'm going to just delete that. All right, so we might have to use a different camera setting because it looks like it's off the screen. So I'm going to move it to, I think I have it at 50 millimeters. So 35 we'll use. So there we go. We can see the telephone pole and the vehicle. I'm going to render it now. Glad I stopped that. I'm going to go to render, setup, and then down here, make that number 3, just so you don't go over the top of the other one. So there we go, number 3. Save. And now render it. So here we go. This will be the final shot with the telephone pole with it. I did a version of this on my show last night, and it was pretty compelling. Okay, so let's close that out. Go to Photoshop, File, Open, number 3, Control A, Control C, back here, and let's paste it in there. Let's go Edit, Transform, Scale. I'm just trying to scale it down where it, let's see, so those wheels look pretty good. Wheels, right there. I don't know if it looks like, okay, so I got it right there. I'm just trying to get it so it fits in there. So you got the back wheels. Looks like I need to rotate it again. Unfortunately, the telephone pole will rotate with it. So it should be, I'll just have to do it. You'll be able to tell. So it's just a slight rotation. You can see it's kind of going down in the video. So maybe not like that. That one's a little harder because I have that telephone pole in there. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I think it's a little bit smaller too, slightly. There, just like that. See? I mean, look at that, you guys. I mean, that's incredible. Absolutely, the vehicle driving by the Hoosier Harvestore is the 2016 black Ford Focus. And here's one last thing I wanted to show before I get off of here. I know. All right, so this is sort of out of order because I thought of doing this right after I recorded the video. So watch. I'm going to slowly add the transparency on. So here we go. So look at. Can you see that? I mean, just look at the original video below. And then I'm going to slowly bring on the other, the 3D model version. Look at that, you guys. Absolutely 100% is the vehicle. Can I get a boom? Now, does that convince some of the people out there that think Richard Allen is innocent, that at least it is his vehicle that drove by, since there's only one in the area, that it is his vehicle that drove by at 127, which disproves his story that he got there at 12 and left at, what was it? He got there at 12 and left at 1:30, when he originally told Dan Doolin he got there at 1:30, which is exactly what this is. Look at this. That's the time was corrected. That time was off. It's over here. I think it's off the bottom of the screen. So 1:27:38, right around 1:30. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to put all of these on one layer. Now watch this. Can you guys see that? Can you tell that that's the 2016 black Ford Focus? Seems pretty obvious. All right, everybody. I want to say thank you for watching the video. I think these kind of videos like this are the most compelling that there are out there. Please share my channel with other people who want to have fact-based information and really nail stuff to the wall. And that's exactly what we're doing right here. And by the way, law enforcement should have done something very similar to this because it's so simple to see, not just having them look at an overhead shot of his vehicle in a parking lot. This right here is absolutely damning and shows that that is Richard Allen's 2016 black Ford Focus hatchback. All right? So thank you all very much for watching. If you could hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And leave a comment in the comments section and let me know what you think. I think this is absolutely it. Thank you for watching. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.